Hi, and welcome to That's Ready Mysterious. Join me for an intriguing look into real-life mysteries. Who was the mad gasser of Mattoon? What was whaling at the Wilga waterhole? I'm not going to solve those mysteries, but they'll be interesting to learn about. I'm your host, Kelly with an I. Transcripts and references for all episodes can be found at that'sreadymysterious.wordpress.com. No apostrophe and no exclamation point. Today's tale is about the Sanxingdui. Dr. Tianalong Zhao, head curator of the Hong Kong Palace Museum, said, "It took us more than 2 years to plan this special exhibition. It began with the new discoveries in 2019. By 2021, the excavations had reached the objects within the pits, but that was during the COVID period, so we were not able to visit the site. Fortunately, media groups did live broadcasts of the excavation, so I saw some of the fantastic objects coming out of the pit. Because of that, I began a conversation with the people in Sichuan, and that's how everything started. The valley where the Sanxingdui is located has a large floodplain with 7 kilometers or 4.3 miles high terraced walls, which were probably not cut by the small river that flows through it, according to Nianyan Fan, a river sciences researcher at Tsinghua University in Chengdu, China. Sanxingdui is an archaeological site in modern-day Guanghan, Sichuan province in southwestern China. It was first discovered in 1929, and it's thought that the society there existed in the 11th and 12th centuries BC. The Sanxingdui are believed to have been part of the ancient kingdom of Shu during the Chinese Bronze Age. They were a sophisticated culture that disappeared around 1100 BC, leaving behind 2 pits of artifacts. Most of what we know from the culture has come from these 2 sacrificial pits, which were most likely built during the Sanxingdui's existence. In the pits, archaeologists have found ivory artifacts, 1,238 bronze wares, 543 gold artifacts, and 565 jade artifacts. They also found giant bronze masks with protruding eyes, large wing-like ears, and thin lips. The masks were unlike anything else found in the area. The masks could be representations of Qian Kong, the founder of the Shu kingdom. Qian Kong is described as having protruding eyes in the chronicles of He Wing from the Jin dynasty, which reigned between 266 and 420. How were the masks made and how were they used? There's evidence in the pits of what looks like burning and breaking of artifacts sacrificed in the pits. Why? Was it part of some religious ritual? The Sanxingdui site is the biggest prehistoric city ruins in the upper reaches of the Yangtze River. The site is 12 square kilometers, or about 4.6 square miles big, with the core zone being 3.6 kilometers, or about 1.4 square miles. The site dates to more than 3,200 years ago. This pushes back the chronology of human history in the Sichuan province to about 5,000 years when it used to be 3,000 years. In 1929, a peasant in Sichuan province found jade and stone artifacts while repairing a sewage ditch located about 40 kilometers or 24 miles from Chengdu. In 1986, the significance of that find was discovered. In that year, an archaeologist dug up 2 pits of Bronze Age treasures, including more than 200 jades, about 100 elephant tusks, about 1,000 artifacts with hundreds of broken and burnt objects, and some 2.4 meter or 8 feet tall bronze sculptures that display technical ability that hadn't been seen anywhere else in the world at that time, according to Peter Keller, a geologist and president of Bowers Museum in Santa Ana, California. All of these items belong to a lost civilization known as Sanxingdui. The walled city was on the banks of the Mingjiang River. Keller, who was not involved in the 2014 study of the artifacts, said, "It's a big mystery." Mounds were discovered at the site that turned out to be the remains of a huge city wall that was about 40 meters or around 131 feet wide at the base. The artistic style of the artifacts show that the Sanxingdui had great technical metallurgy abilities. Nothing close to that level of skill existed anywhere else in the world at the time. The items are not just beautifully decorated and finely crafted, some of them were also huge. Apart from the huge masks, there was an almost 1 meter or 3 feet tall altar showing a scene described as sacrificial. The imagery is related to the Shu people's description of the realm of immortal people. There was also a 2.4 meter or 8 feet tall bronze sculpture of a tree. There was a 2.5 meter or 8.5 feet tall figure with a slender waist, huge grasping hands, and wearing a robe. They also found a 1.5 meter or 5 feet tall sculpture made of 3 individually cast pieces that were welded together. The upper 1/3 is an ancient wine vessel, or a zun, with a trumpet-shaped form with vermilion pigments. The middle 1/3 shows an upside-down human head with bulging eyes and large tusks with a serpent body. The lower 1/3 is an urn-shaped ancient wine vessel, or a lei, resting on a square-shaped base. The inclusion of the lei and zun creates even more questions. The zun was a rare item in the Shu kingdom, but was popular in the Central Plains or Songwang district. The lei was related to pre-Western Shu dynasty near the Yellow River. The discovery of these items from such far apart areas of China leads to questions about whether the Chinese civilization originated and spread from the Central Plains of the Yellow River. Around the year 2000, archaeologists found the remains of an ancient city called Jinsha near Chengdu, China. This city didn't have impressive bronze sculptures like the Sanxingdui, but it did have a gold crown with an engraved motif of fish, arrows, and birds, which was similar to a golden staff found at Sanxingdui. This led the archaeologists to believe that the Sanxingdui relocated to Jinsha. Archaeologists think the Sanxingdui culture dissolved itself between 2800 and 3000 years ago. Yan Fan explained that the current beliefs for why the Sanxingdui disappeared are war and flood, but that neither of these explanations is convincing. If the Sanxingdui relocated to Jinsha, why? Some believe there was an earthquake in the valley they originally lived in. Others say they relocated due to aliens, but that doesn't make any sense. New research in 2014 says the Sanxingdui may have disappeared because of an earthquake. The earthquake may have caused landslides that dammed up the main water source, diverting the river to a new location. This might have forced the Sanxingdui to move closer to the new flow. In 1099 BC, writers recorded an earthquake in the capital city of Chu dynasty, in the Shaanxi province. That's located about 400 kilometers or 250 miles from Sanxingdui, but the Sanxingdui didn't have writing at the time, so it's possible the epicenter was closer to Sanxingdui, but was not recorded there, according to Fan. Geological evidence shows that an earthquake happened in that general area between 3,300 and 2,200 years ago. Between 2020 and 2022, 6 more pits have been found at the Sanxingdui site. They range from 3.5 square meters, or about 37.7 square feet, to 19 square meters, or about 204.5 square feet. As of September 2022, over 13,000 artifacts have been recovered from the pits. These included bronze wares decorated with zoomorphic figures, ivory carvings, pieces of silk, pieces of a gold mask, and seashells. Keller explains that while the geological story is possible, it doesn't answer why a people would destroy their entire culture, burying it in 2 pits, or why the culture didn't re-emerge at Jinsha. No human remains or written records were found at Sanxingdui. What happened to the people of Sanxingdui? Why did they bury so many artifacts before disappearing? What do you think? Leave a comment and let me know what you think. Thanks for listening to today's episode of That's Ready Mysterious.
Join me next week for another captivating mystery.